The underestimated species. The grand hall of the galactic Concordat sparkled with the light of 1,000 stars, its vast dome capturing the magnificence of space itself. Representatives from 200 alien species filled the tiered seats, their forms as varied as the worlds they hailed from. Crystalline beings that shimmered with inner light, massive reptilians whose scales gleamed like polished metal, gaseous entities contained in sophisticated environment suits. They were the powerful, the ancient, the respected civilizations of the Milky Way. And then there was humanity. Ambassador Ilara Chen stood at the center of the speaking platform, her dark blue Earth diplomatic corps uniform crisp and professional. At 45, she carried herself with quiet dignity, her black hair streaked with premature silver, from 15 years of representing humanity's interests to a galaxy that found them quaint at best, pathetic at worst. The Earth Coalition requests reconsideration of our petition to establish mining operations in the Ta-City system, Ilara stated, her voice steady despite the dismissive murmurs already rippling through the chamber. Our geological surveys indicate the presence of rare Earth elements crucial to our technological development, without significant impact on mining rights. The interruption came from High Commander Vextor of the Valkyrian Imperium, his massive form rising from his seat like a mountain of muscle and violet-hued kitten. The species that barely managed to reach its own moon without our assistance now demands mining rights to a star system. Laughter erupted across the chamber, a cacophony of clicks, rumbles, and electronic tones that needed no translation. Mockery crossed all species boundaries. Our technological progression has accelerated since first contact, Ilara continued, maintaining her composure. Earth has contributed significantly to cultural exchange and biological research. Culture, barked another voice, belonging to Governor Zill of the Ataxian Collective, an avian species with brilliant plumage and a reputation for brutal pragmatism. Books and music and art. What use are these in the cosmic struggle for survival? When the Drekenar hordes return to this sector, will you defeat them with poetry? More laughter. Ilara's hands tightened imperceptibly on the podium's edge. Humanity remains committed to peaceful cooperation, she responded. But we require access to resources to sustain our growth and contribute meaningfully to the Concordat. High Commander Vextor moved forward, his massive frame towering over Ilara's human stature. 8 feet of evolved predator. His ancestors had conquered 12 planets before joining the Concordat. Let me make this simple for your primitive understanding, Ambassador, Vextor said, his translator converting his natural clicks and growls into standard. The Valkyrian Imperium has claimed the Ta-City system. Your petition is denied. And further, his mandibles clicked in what passed for a smile among his kind. We are establishing a military outpost on your colony of Proxima Centauri. Silence fell across the chamber. This was no mere denial of mining rights. This was a direct challenge to humanity's sole extrasolar colony, a fledgling settlement of just 30,000 souls. Proxima Centauri is sovereign human territory, Ilara said, her voice dropping dangerously low. Any military presence would constitute an act of aggression. Call it what you wish, Vextor replied. Consider it protection. After all, humans are so fragile, so soft, so in need of guidance from your betters. The chamber erupted in approving roars from Vextor's allies and uncomfortable murmurs from the neutral factions. The Valkyrians were pushing boundaries, but no one would challenge them, not for humanity's sake. The Earth Coalition will not accept this violation of our sovereignty, Ilara stated firmly. Vextor leaned closer, his voice dropping to a level only Ilara could hear. And what will you do, human? Your ships are toys compared to our battle cruisers. Your weapons couldn't penetrate our personal shields. You have no allies willing to stand with you. He straightened, addressing the chamber again. The matter is decided. The Valkyrian fleet departs for Proxima Centauri in 14 cycles. We suggest the humans there prepare a welcome for their new protectors. With that, he returned to his seat, leaving Ilara standing alone at the center of the vast chamber, the weight of 200 alien gazes upon her, some pitying, most indifferent, many amused at humanity's humiliation. Ilara's face betrayed nothing as she inclined her head in the formal gesture of acknowledgement. "This session is noted in the record," she said, using the traditional closing formula before stepping down from the platform. Only when she reached her small private diplomatic shuttle did she allow herself to collapse into her chair, hands trembling with suppressed rage. She activated the secure quantum communication channel to Earth. "They're coming," she told the grim faces of the Earth Coalition Security Council that appeared on her screen. 14 days. Defense Minister Takahashi's weathered face hardened. "Then we have no choice." "Are we certain?" asked Chancellor Rodriguez. "Once this step is taken." "They leave us no alternative," Ilara interrupted. "The Valkyrians understand only strength. It's time they learned what humanity is truly capable of." A heavy silence fell across the connection. "Activate Project Nemesis," President Okafor finally said. "God help us all." Deep beneath the Antarctic ice, in a facility that officially did not exist, Dr. Mira Khatri moved through sterile corridors illuminated by harsh white light. At 53, she had spent 20 years of her career on Project Nemesis, the greatest secret Earth had kept from its galactic neighbors. The alien species of the Concordat believed they had granted humanity access to the stars through their benevolence. They didn't know that Earth had been preparing for contact for decades before the first alien ships appeared. They didn't know about the shadow programs born in the paranoia of isolation. Programs designed to ensure humanity's survival in a potentially hostile cosmos. Most of those programs had been dismantled after peaceful first contact, all except one. Dr. Khatri pressed her palm against a biometric scanner, then submitted to retinal and DNA verification before the massive doors slid open, revealing a circular chamber ringed with monitoring equipment. In the center stood a cylindrical tank filled with pale blue nutrient fluid. Inside floated a man, or what had once been a man. Subject 7. The last survivor of Project Nemesis. Status. Dr. Khatri asked the nearest technician. Stable. All enhancements functioning at optimal levels. Consciousness suppressed but brain activity normal. Dr. Khatri nodded, approaching the tank. Dante appeared to be in his mid-30s, his body a perfect specimen of human physiology, at least on the surface. Beneath the skin was another matter entirely. Nanomachine colonies integrated with his nervous system, bones reinforced with carbon nanotubes, muscles densified and enhanced, reaction time accelerated beyond normal human limitations. And his mind. His mind was the most terrifying enhancement of all. The technician glanced nervously at Dr. Khatri. Is it true? Are we actually deploying him? Yes, she answered simply. Begin awakening procedures. The team moved with practiced efficiency, initiating the complex process of bringing Dante back to consciousness. Fluid drained from the tank as monitoring equipment tracked vital signs and neural activity. Neural spike, called out a technician. He's dreaming. Dr. Khatri moved closer to the tank. What do you dream of, Dante? She whispered. Do you dream of the others? Of what happened to them? 7 test subjects, 6 catastrophic failures. 5 of those had been relatively merciful, subjects who simply died when their bodies rejected the enhancements. Subject 6 had been different. 6 had survived physically but lost all traces of humanity, becoming something feral and uncontrollable. Only Dante had survived with his mind intact. Technically, whether that mind could still be called human remained a philosophical question Dr. Khatri preferred not to dwell on. The tank opened with a hydraulic hiss. Dante's eyes snapped open, unnaturally pale blue, almost luminescent. Doctor, he said, his voice perfectly calm despite 5 years in suspended animation. You've woken me. That means we're at war. Not yet, Dr. Khatri replied. But soon, if we can't prevent it. Dante stepped from the tank, water sluicing from his body as medical technicians rushed forward with monitoring equipment and clothing. He ignored them, focusing entirely on Dr. Katri. "Brief me," he said. As Dr. Katri explained the situation with the Valkyrians, Dant dressed in the simple black coverall provided. His movements were economical, precise. Not a single wasted motion or gesture. He absorbed the information with the same efficiency. "The Valkyrians are Type C predatorial evolution," he stated when she finished. "Hive-adjacent social structures, hierarchical to an extreme. Physical intimidation is foundational to their diplomacy." These weren't facts he'd been taught. They were conclusions reached in seconds from minimal data. "Yes," Dr. Katri confirmed. "Our diplomatic approaches have failed entirely." "Because you've shown no strength," Dant said without inflection. "Their evolutionary psychology requires demonstration of capability. Which is why we need you," came a new voice. "We're momentarily disrupted during the flyby," the officer finished. "Security feeds show a humanoid figure, moving fast. Seal all compartments. Deploy security teams." Graxvol ordered. How did one human penetrate our? The lights throughout the ship flickered, then went dark. Emergency systems activated, bathing the command center in crimson. "Main power disabled," reported the engineer, voice tinged with disbelief. How could one intruder? The sealed door to the command center exploded inward. Through the smoke stepped a human figure in form-fitting black armor, unarmed except for what appeared to be a simple combat knife. Before any Valkyrian could react, the human moved, faster than their eyes could track, faster than any organic being should move. The nearest security officer's throat was slashed open before he could raise his weapon. The second crumpled with his exoskeleton cracked at critical junctures. 5 seconds passed. 7 Valkyrians lay dead or dying. Graxvol finally managed to draw his sidearm, firing rapidly at the human. The plasma bolts seemed to pass through empty air. The human was already elsewhere, moving with impossible speed and precision. "Defective genetics." Graxvol snarled the Valkyrian insult as he continued firing. "Stand and fight with honor." The human paused, head tilting slightly. When he spoke, his voice was unnervingly calm. "This isn't a fight, Commander. This is a demonstration." The human blurred into motion again. Lieutenant Krell's mandibles were ripped from his face before he could scream. The communications officer died with his own control interface impaling his thorax. The tactical officer's exoskeleton was systematically shattered at every joint, leaving him alive but immobile. In 30 seconds, 11 of the 12 Valkyrians aboard were dead or incapacitated. Only Graxvol remained standing, backing against the command console, weapon raised. "What are you?" he demanded, mandibles clicking rapidly in fear, an emotion he hadn't experienced since his hatchling days. The human stepped forward into the crimson emergency lighting. Graxvol finally got a clear look at his attacker, pale eyes that seemed to glow, expressionless face, fluid movements that suggested not just training but enhancement. "I am Dante," the human replied simply. "Earth's response to your aggression." "You're not. You can't be human," Graxvol stammered. "Humans are weak, fragile. We studied your species extensively." "You studied what we showed you," Dant corrected. "You believed what we wanted you to believe." The human moved again, too fast to track. Graxvol's weapon was torn from his grasp, his arm broken with surgical precision. He roared in pain as Dant forced him into the commander's chair. "The Valkyrian Imperium made a critical error," Dant continued, voice still unnervingly calm. "You mistook diplomacy for weakness, restraint for inability." He leaned closer to the Valkyrian commander. "Humanity doesn't want war, Commander, but we've been preparing for it since before we left our atmosphere. Your scientists believe we achieved spaceflight only 70 years ago. The truth, we've been watching the stars, preparing for contact, hostile or otherwise, for centuries." Dant gestured to the dead Valkyrians around them. "Project Nemesis created me and others like me as humanity's insurance policy. I am what humans can become when they set aside their ethics, their restraint, There, humanity. He activated the ship's communication system. This message will transmit directly to your fleet. They will see what one human did to your elite squad. They will understand what awaits if they proceed with their planned invasion. Graxful stared at the human with new understanding and terror. You're letting me live. Yes, to deliver a message. The Earth Coalition welcomes peaceful relations with the Valkyrian Imperium. We desire trade, cultural exchange, mutual respect. But if forced to fight, Daunt's voice dropped lower. We will exterminate your species without hesitation or mercy. He stepped back from the commander. Your engines remain functional. You have enough life support to reach your fleet. Go. Tell them what you witnessed here. With that, Dante turned and walked away, stepping over the bodies of the fallen Valkyrians without a second glance. 3 days later, Ambassador Ilara Chen stood once again in the Grand Hall of the Galactic Concordat. The chamber was silent, utterly, completely silent. No whispers, no clicks of communication, no rustling of appendages, just shocked silence. The display at the center of the hall had just finished playing the footage recovered from the Claw of Dominance. Footage that showed one human systematically eliminating 11 elite Valkyrian commandos in under 1 minute. High Commander Vextor himself stood at the speaker's platform, his normally imposing presence somehow diminished. When he spoke, his translator conveyed not arrogance but grave concern. The Valkyrian Imperium withdraws its claim to Proxima Centauri, he announced formally. Furthermore, we propose the establishment of a demilitarized zone between Valkyrian and human territories, to be monitored by neutral Concordat observers. Murmurs finally broke out across the chamber. Shock, disbelief, and in some cases, newfound respect. Ilara stepped forward. The Earth Coalition accepts these terms, High Commander. We look forward to peaceful relations between our species. Vextor's mandibles clicked once in acknowledgement. As he turned to leave the platform, he paused beside Ilara. Your kind, he said quietly, are not what we believed. No, Ilara agreed. We never were. As Vextor departed and she took the speaking platform, Ilara surveyed the assembly of alien representatives. No one was laughing now. No dismissive gestures, no condescending murmurs. The Earth Coalition remains committed to peaceful cooperation within the Galactic Concordat, she began. We seek friends, not subjects. Partners, not adversaries. But let there be no misunderstanding. Humanity will defend its sovereignty with all necessary means. She paused, making eye contact with several key representatives. We hope that recent events have clarified any misconceptions about humanity's capabilities. We prefer books and music and art, yes. We celebrate life and cooperation. But we evolved as apex predators on a death world that tried to kill us each day. We survived ice ages, plagues, and our own destructive tendencies. We are not to be underestimated. As the session concluded, Ilara returned to her diplomatic quarters, where a secure quantum communication awaited. President Okafor's face appeared on the screen. It worked, Ilara reported simply. And Dante. Back in stasis. Dr. Caftry confirms all systems normal. President Okafor nodded, her expression solemn. Let us hope we never need to wake him again. The Concordat races are reassessing everything they thought they knew about us, Ilara said. The Valkyrians have withdrawn completely from Proxima Centauri space, but there's fear now, where once there was only dismissal. Fear is not ideal, the president acknowledged, but respect will follow. And eventually, perhaps, true understanding. Ilara wasn't so certain. The galaxy had seen humanity bare its teeth, just a glimpse of what lurked beneath their diplomatic smiles and cultural offerings. That knowledge couldn't be unlearned. In her private thoughts, Ilara wondered what the alien races would think if they knew the complete truth, that Dante was not unique. That Earth maintained a small cadre of such enhanced humans, sleeping in secret facilities around the planet. That Project Nemesis had been just one of several contingency programs developed before humanity ever left its home system. They had prepared for the worst while hoping for the best. And now the galaxy knew that humans were not to be trifled with, that beneath their art and diplomacy and apparent technological backwardness lay the potential for terrible, efficient violence. No one was laughing at humanity anymore. Deep beneath the Antarctic ice, in his suspension tank, Dante floated in dreamless sleep. His mission complete, he had returned to the only peace he knew, the emptiness between moments of purpose. In his unconscious state, he couldn't know that his brief, violent demonstration had fundamentally altered humanity's position in the galactic community. That species who had dismissed humans as weak now regarded them with cautious respect. That humanity's progression through the stars would no longer be impeded by those who mistook diplomacy for weakness. Dante slept, the most dangerous human in the galaxy, waiting for the next time his services would be required. Earth hoped that day would never come. The galaxy prayed for the same.